everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today, coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio, where we always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog. Toronto Blue Jays, they are not playing in the Wild Card Series, which has given us the perfect opportunity to create our postseason brackets, everybody. We get to watch along as all of these other teams got to go through the stress and the anxiety right now. We've been seeing all these postseason brackets on Twitter, on Instagram, everything. So these are going to be your official Blue Jays Today brackets. Please let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Hit that like, smash that subscribe button, and of course, just understand that there is going to be some Toronto Blue Jays bias, just kind of, blanketing.
I'm already thinking about it right now. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do for the Blue Jays.
I'm trying to come up with as many arguments as I can as to why they are going to win the World Series. But let's not even focus on them to begin. Let's start over there in the National League, actually, because everyone's going to be interested in what we say with the American League. Let's start with the National League. Cincinnati Reds taking on the LA Dodgers. I think that this is probably maybe the easiest matchup to predict, or at least to bet on initially. I think you're already highlighting
selecting
LA.
it, man. Yeah, I gotta go LA. Look, Cincinnati, it's been a great story. I would love for you to upset the Dodgers, because that would just knock out an inherent juggernaut when it does come to the postseason. But it's got to be Dodgers. Their bullpen's the one thing you gotta like look at to attack if you are the Cincinnati Reds, because their bullpen has been giving up a hell of a lot of runs, but they got great starting pitching, like phenomenal starting pitching. It is a stacked rotation, more stacked than we've ever seen in Dodger land in the last decade, and they've also got the great hitting in Freddie Freeman and Ohtani. So give me Dodgers in that wild card series. They win 2-0.
Yeah, the Reds honestly just like snuck into this thing. Not saying that they don't belong here, because obviously they are a playoff team, but like, let's be honest, they don't really belong here, guys. I always like to have a couple upsets in my bracket, but I just feel like if I were to make this that upset, then you would just have to tune out of this video, because like, what is my reasoning for Cincinnati winning? I don't have one. Therefore, it has to be LA that's going to move on and face those Philadelphia Phillies. Now, second wild card series in the National League. This one, I think that you can have. You could honestly go either way with this one. San Diego Padres taking on the Chicago Cubs. We were looking at both teams in terms of what they've been doing recently, and they are all very similar.
They're all very similar. The last 15 days, you can make any argument for any one of these guys. ERA, you got San Diego Padres at 3.53, where you got the Cubs at 3.0 or 3.03, right up there, seventh in all of baseball. And then very similarly, you got OPS, Chicago Cubs, fifth in all of baseball at 7.95. And then you've got those Padres down at 7.28 for OPS. But you look over at the season-long numbers, and what really stands out to me for the Padres is the bullpen. It's the number one bullpen in all of baseball, and we saw last year how critical that bullpen can be. But we also saw how critical the home run ball can be, and the Chicago Cubs are sixth in all of baseball in home runs. So that begs the question, who's going to win that 3-game series? Literally, I think anybody could win. I am going to tend to lean towards the Chicago Cubs, because the home run ball does get it done. They are going to be playing at Wrigley Field. Give me the Cubs to beat the Padres. They are meant to go on a deep run. It wasn't meant to end here in the wild card. Give me Cubbies in 3.
Oh, that's this one's really tight, man. You know what? I could honestly see this one going either way. I almost want to pick the Padres just for, the sake of variety here. Right. Because I feel like we're going to be having pretty similar selections throughout, but I do like the home field advantage of the Cubs. Like, I think actually that's the only reason why I think I'm leaning Cubs here, because again, the bullpen of the San Diego Padres, like, that is nothing to scoff at. And if you can get the lead on the Cubs, you should theoretically be able to lock it down, because your bullpen's just better than everyone else.
I can see a great argument for Padres too.
That's the thing. I think that there is good arguments for both of these teams.
You look at the matchups too, and pitching matchup wise, the Padres are better. Like, starting pitching, right? So if they can, like you're saying, lock it down and bring it to that bullpen, they'll win. But the offense of the Padres has yet to be a desire, So that's their one Achilles heel. Whereas the Cubs, even though they could get 3 hits just like the New York Yankees, but score 3 runs because of a long ball.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments down below who you're riding with there. I think I am leading Cubs, just very slightly though, like just so slightly.
So slightly.
Man.
That Cubs in 3 is where you got to go if you're gonna make any prediction in this series. It's whoever wins in 3.
Yeah, this should not be a sweep. Whereas LA could absolutely wipe the floor with Cincinnati.
Absolutely. Now moving on. To the American League. Let's get into that Tigers and Guardians series. The Tigers, they had a mighty fall off, and they've been playing some of the worst baseball we've ever seen. We thought the Blue Jays at the end were starting to scuffle. They did get a 4-game win streak to clinch the division, but the Tigers just continued to lose. And on the other side of things, their AL Central opponent continued to win. Give me the Guardians with the home field advantage. They play great baseball, and if I'm the Tigers, I'm just in my dome right now. Guardians are going to go to the ALDS, which is just going to kind of put the bow on a miraculous story. That may even make an ALDS at this point, where their season was midway through, is a giant win for them.
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm trying to find like any type of just anything right now.
For the Tigers?
Yeah, because you know what,
Eric Skubal.
That is the thing. Like I do think that's a legitimate argument right there.
I think he's been getting beaten up though, if I'm not mistaken, in his last little bit.
I think his version of getting beaten up, though, is like actually still like really good. Yeah, the guy's got a 2.21 ERA on the season. And recently, Tarek Skubal, looking over at it, he gave up 1 earned run, 1 earned run. So he got beat up 1 time, and that was against Miami. Everything else is
pretty good dominant against the Cleveland Guardians the last 2 times out, right? He literally faced them last 2 times out. 1 earned run in 6 innings. Where you at?
Man, you know what? I actually think I'm gonna go Detroit on this one. I wasn't initially at all, but I do think that they have the pitching matchups. And I think in a wild card series, that makes it that much more important. Now, if this was a 5-game series, I think I'd have to go Cleveland just based off everything. But I'm going to trust my guy, Tarek Skubal, to get that thing done. And then it's, okay, so you win game 1 with Tarek Skubal. Then can we get one more win after that? That's honestly got to be the hope for Detroit, the way I'm looking at it.
For me, I'm just going based off a recent stretch, of course, and the fact that they played the Tigers and then handed it to them pretty easily. So, again, we'll see how things change. I could see the Tigers also winning. I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, it's a wild card series, right? So anything can happen here. I could also see the Cincinnati Reds knocking off the LA Dodgers. They have 18 good innings of ball. That's all it takes right there.
That's why we didn't want to play in a wild card series, because we've seen how bad the Blue Jays have done in that past. Now moving over to Boston and New York, and if you're a Blue Jays fan, this is the one you want to circle, and we're going to possibly be going live tomorrow for Game 2, and if need be, Game 3 on Thursday between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Yankees are coming in red hot into this postseason, into the wild card series, as they swept the last week of baseball 6-0. With that being said, it's playing in the Bronx. I like teams that are hot going into this thing, and they had the best record in baseball in the last month or so. Give me the New York Yankees to win the Boston Red Sox. I think they're going to sweep them 2-0. Where are you leaning, Nick?
So I like how hot New York is going. Well, I don't like it, actually. I really don't like it. But for predicting this series, I like it. That being said, though, one argument that I think you could make for Boston is that they are a staggering 9-4 against New York this season. Like they have picked the ever-living crap out of the New York Yankees. So for whatever reason, they know how to beat the Yankees. Actually they're 10-3 against Tampa Bay. That's crazy too. But 9-4 against New York. So obviously they know how to play the New York Yankees better than anyone. I predicted the Boston Red Sox. And you know what? Boston's still playing good, too. Boston's still playing good ball. They're not at the level of New York.
The one thing you got to know, they got no Lucas Giolito anymore. It's just Crochet, and then it's going to be Brian Bayo, whereas the New York guys, they got their 2 aces in Max Fried and Carlos Rodon. So you'd have to look at the advanced stuff, see, hey, has Boston beaten up on those 2 guys this year?
That's true, yeah. And I'll be honest.
These are very blind predictions right here, Chad.
Boston or New York.
Be different.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. I don't want to be like you're going first on these, so like I don't want to be different just for the sake of being different. I want to actually believe in it. If I believe in it, I do think. Look, I'll tell you what. This is going to a Game 3 regardless. That I am sure about. I am going to go with the New York Yankees though, because I do trust the hot hand. However, that being said, I mean 9-4 against the Yankees. Like clearly they got the winning formula against them. So wouldn't be shocked if Boston pulled this one out.
That's totally fair. fair. Moving on over there to the NLDS starting this weekend. You've got the LA Dodgers up against those Phillies. Where are you thinking for this one? This is going to be a monster matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at all the matchups remaining in both of our brackets right here, I mean, there's nothing easy to predict here. LA, obviously, they're just a juggernaut, man. That being said, though, like, Phillies are playing a really good brand of baseball right now, and I think that this is where my bias is taken over a little bit here. Yeah. I don't like seeing the repeat champion unless it's my favorite team, and I do got a soft spot for Mr. Bryce Harper and for what Kyle Schwarber's accomplished and everything. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Phillies with home field advantage to win against those LA Dodgers in the NLDS.
Yeah, I'm also going to go the Phillies. The bullpen of the Dodgers has had problems. The Phillies offense has been a threat. I really do want to see the Phillies go on because there's some bias in there, but I just don't think it's the year for the Dodgers. I just don't believe it, right? The recipe they had last year is completely flipped around for what they've got this year. Give me the Phillies, man. It's their time to shine. Don't give me the Dodgers again in the NLCS.
It feels like with this core of the Phillies, like they got to at least win one ring, and like this is probably I don't want to say that your last chance, but like maybe the best chance that you are going to have in a significant period of time. Now looking over at the Cubs and the Brewers right there, this one for me, I gotta go Brewers. And I know it's the favorite and, the bye team and everything like that, but I do especially believe that with the Brewers, they just play such a great brand of baseball. And with the Cubs we're predicting a 3-game series against the San Diego Padres. I don't think that they're going to be well rested enough. I think that they're going to have to, burn everything to just get through the wild card. And I think that the Milwaukee Brewers are going to get this whole week off, chilling. They're going to get up early in the NLDS, and the Chicago Cubs are not going to be capable of coming and clawing their way back into
This is where my bias has to creep in a little bit. They are very close. This is going to be a good series matchup, guys. They are very close against the Milwaukee Brewers this season. The Cubs are 7-6 against them. And in the last little bit, looking at where the Milwaukee Brewers are, they are 6 in ERA and 3.02. And then you look over at the offense, and this is where I'm
20th.
They're 20th right now. You know what? I'm gonna say something different, and there's no reason for me not to believe in the Brewers because they have been dominating all year long. But maybe this is a case of, hey, the Cubs are just getting hot at the right time. Maybe they had to take down the Padres. I just like the makeup of the Cubs in the home run ball. Like, I think if any team's going to ride the home run ball, maybe it's also the Yankees too. But I think the Cubs are going to win out right here. I think I'm going to go Cubs in this series. I'm just again, I don't know. Then again, I'm not too familiar with the NL teams. I'm going Cubs. I just like them a lot. I see them winning it in 5.
I mean, look, they are a good team. Okay, everyone other than Cincinnati and maybe Detroit here are all good teams remaining. So like, I don't think that anyone's gonna hate on you for picking the Cubs right there. But I do think, honestly, like I gained so much respect for Milwaukee when we watched them play Toronto, and just like
really
the brand of baseball that they played was phenomenal. Looking over at the AL right here, you've got Cleveland versus Seattle. I've got Detroit versus Seattle. For me, it doesn't actually matter who they play. It's Seattle. It's got to be Seattle.
We're going to end up with the same guys coming out of that side of the bracket. Seattle Mariners are the team to beat, in my opinion, when it comes to postseason. You got some sports books, shout out to Sports Interaction, favoriting the Seattle Mariners to win it all, and I believe it.
I understand, like, the makeup. Now, there is I am a little worried about the hype with them, because it's like sometimes like I feel like we might be overhyping them a little bit, but the makeup of their squad with the starting pitching staff being as deep as it is, and then having just an absolutely electric offense, an offense that they haven't had in you can even argue decades, maybe, like Cal Raleigh and Randy. Like, there's just so many guys over there, honestly. Like, the list goes on and on and on.
Staff, it's unbelievable. They're made for postseason.
100%, dude. Yeah, like, they scare me a ton. I wanted them to be on the other side of the bracket for the chance, the possibility that maybe one of Cleveland or Detroit could knock them out, and then Toronto doesn't even need to worry about them. That being said, I cannot bet on it. I think that they're going to move on to the ALCS.
All right, and then we got everyone's anticipated matchup here on Blue Blue Jays today. The New York Yankees versus the Toronto Blue Jays is what we're both saying here for the ALDS. That will be one electric and also toxic, if you're on Twitter, atmosphere.
Yeah.
This is where my bias is creeping in. I do like the Blue Jays against the Yankees. I made it. I said it on a podcast. You cut a clip about it. I like the matchup of against their bullpen. And yeah, we do give up our fair share of home run ball, but we have beaten them head to head this year, and we can get to that bullpen. We've done it several times this season. Give me the Blue Jays in a gritty 5 games. Give me the Blue Jays.
So this is 100% where your bias is coming in because,
For sure.
all the arguments about how the Yankees are the hottest team in baseball feels like we've just thrown that out.
Yeah. Wait. Sorry. Which team was the hottest baseball? You said
New York Yankees.
Yeah, they're the hottest team in baseball, but they're gonna be grinded down like you were saying before.
Right.
They're gonna be like the Cubs argument, and this is where we'll actually get them. This is where my understanding of the Yankees and the Blue Jays comes in. Because we have beaten them a lot head to head, and we beat them a lot at home at the Rogers Center. That's where it comes in for me.
I get it. I do understand that. Yeah. Kind of my argument with the Boston Red Sox as well, even though I did go Yankees. But also my bias is kicking in here as well. I don't think our playoff run ends in the ALDS, or certainly I hope not, because if it does, we are once again going to be having conversations about, well, can the Toronto Blue Jays even play in the postseason? If, we leapfrog the wild card, but then we just get knocked out in the ALDS, what was the point of all of this? So I am just praying to God that does not happen. We are down to the final 4 right here. You got Seattle, Blue Jays, Phillies, and Cubs. I got all the same, except instead of those Cubs, I got the Milwaukee Brewers. So let's talk about that NL side of things. Who's going to the World Series, Phillies or Cubs for you?
This is where I gotta lean on the juggernaut Phillies. They would also get home field advantage in the NLCS because they do have a better record against the Cubs with in terms of overall win total. I'm going Phillies, man. Same reason why they beat the Dodgers. This is the year. I think they're going to the World Series. Cubs, I think they're going to put up a great fight. I think it's good. All these teams, this is what's great about this year. All these teams are so evenly matched. There's no clear juggernaut. I think this one goes to 7. That's how gritty it's going to be. I think you're going to see the home run ball come to play on both sides of things. So yeah, give me Phillies going to the World Series for the NL, and that will be one scary team.
I got to take a look right now and see what the head-to-head record is with Milwaukee and Phillies, because this is on. This might determine everything for me about who's going to the World Series right here.
Let's see, Milwaukee
against Philadelphia, they are 4-2, so they played 6 games, and they have gotten the better of them.
That would be the win in the 7-game series.
That would be the win. So yeah,
I'm gonna trust the stats. I will take the Milwaukee Brewers to go to the World Series in the National League. Out of all those squads, the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Mets, who aren't even in there, but all these teams that pay insane amounts of money, the Cubs even, insane payroll, Milwaukee Brewers with their $100 million on the books, they end up going all the way.
That would be a story, wouldn't it? Now on the AL side of things, the ALCS, we got the same matchup, Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays, the repeat of 2022. The Blue Jays got to defeat some demons from that wild card series. Where are you at in this matchup? Blue Jays will have home field advantage.
They will have home field advantage, and that is huge. However, this is where their postseason run ends for me, and I cannot allow my bias to creep in here. I think that Seattle is just a better built baseball team than we are, if I'm being completely honest with you. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that they come out there and listen, they could be, right? You don't even know. We have no idea what's going to happen, in our proposed ALDSs. I really want to see Seattle get knocked out in some, dramatic fashion right there. But I think about, honestly, what it comes down to me is I think about those pitching matchups with them and Toronto.
We get outmatched every time.
And then when you factor in how their lineup hits home runs at will, and the biggest thing that our starting pitchers have struggled with is the home run ball. It just feels like a matchup for disaster.
Yeah.
So I have to go with Seattle and just pray to God that I'm wrong.
Listen, when I was predicting the New York series there, I was considering the makeup of the New York Yankees roster. And I genuinely do believe the Blue Jays have a better built roster than the New York Yankees. A deeper roster, and their top heavy Aaron Judge and Bellinger and Stanton doesn't really matter to the depths of our roster. However, on the Seattle Mariners, they've got depth and they got top heavy. That's how damn good they are. So yeah, I am saying the Seattle Mariners beat us in 6, and we don't, rectify those demons, and we got to keep living on being in fear of the Mariners.
That would, again, that would suck. However, zooming out right here, I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that the Toronto Blue Jays go to the ALCS, I would obviously accept that. And again, hopefully we are wrong about this. Hopefully they go on, they dominate there, and they make it to the World Series. That being said, though, for this simulation of events, you got the Seattle Mariners up against the Philadelphia Phillies. I have the Seattle Mariners up against the Milwaukee Brewers. Where are you going in your matchup? Two very good teams.
Very, very good teams. All of them well-deserving. See, I always said all season long that the team out of the NL would be the victor. It actually has changed a lot. The AL has gotten very competitive. I'm saying for the first time in a long, long time, I think ever, actually. Have the Seattle Mariners ever won the World Series?
Someone let me know. Great question.
I'm pretty sure the Seattle Mariners have never won. Give me the Mariners. The Mariners win it all. Let's go, baby. They're World Series champions.
I'm looking back right now. I do not believe that they have never won the World Series.
Their first World Series in 2025. The likelihood of it happening is pretty likely, according to a lot of sports books. But it would be quite a dream. And it's one of those things that makes me almost believe it's almost like a fan in me picking it, whereas the reality might come in and knock them out early. But I just got to go based on how well built that roster is, Chad. And the Mariners are going to be World Series champions this year in my predictions.
Yeah, I understand. And you know what? If it makes Blue Jay fans feel any better, it's well, you just got knocked out by the World Series champs. So
that's right.
What are you going to do about that? However,
Milwaukee's never won it either.
Milwaukee's never won it either. Milwaukee's never won it either. And you know what? I think that there's something special about that team. I'm going to trust the squad that did it all year long. The team that had the best record out of everything, that never wavered one single time. There was never a moment in time where the Milwaukee Brewers were not good at baseball. They were the best team all throughout 2025. That is going to continue, and they are going to beat the Seattle Mariners in 7, and everyone is going to have to think very differently about how they address their offseason, looking at how little the Seattle Mariners spend on their payroll.
Or the Milwaukee
Brewers, excuse me. Yeah. Also, I guess Seattle, too. They're not a big spender.
Not a big, like a medium spender.
Yeah, more than Milwaukee for certain, but either way, that is our playoff bracket, everybody. He's got Seattle winning it. I got Milwaukee winning it, but you guys let us know in the comments down below. Where did we go wrong with this selection? I got a sneaky feeling it's going to be in the ALCS. A lot of people thinking.
Yeah, I think we're going to be very surprised by who the actual matchup is in the World Series, but that's why we got to ride and find out, everybody. Please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. $4 a month to become a YouTube member. And shout out thank you to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are awesome.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always,
go Jays, go!